Right friends, welcome back to comprehension vocabulary. These sessions are most important whatever examination you are writing, because follow for 3 to 6 months and your vocabulary of English will improve enormously, and in any examination you will have an edge of at least 5 to 10 marks if you follow these lectures closely. And some people may have an impression that I will read all of them just before examination. That will not serve your purpose, because of the reason I am discussing the contemporary topics so as to make you understand all these aspects quite clearly. This is the best way of learning English vocabulary, right. So, today's issue is welcome agreement on GST switchover. This is Economic Times editorial of 18th January, and on Monday we are going to deliberate today's The Hindu editorial. This is rebooting disinvestment. This article is about disinvestment and several new aspects you will learn on Monday. So, this will be on Monday, and today's article is welcome agreement on GST switchover, and this heading is basically in view of the fact that center and states came to an understanding who will control what up to 1.5 crores turnover, 90:10, beyond 1.5 crores turnover 50:50. In that ratio the organizations will be controlled by state and central government, right. So, this is all about this welcome agreement on GST switchover. Why he used switchover means we are switching over to GST. Different types of indirect taxes will be eliminated with the implementation of GST. Government is planning to implement this from 1st July 2017. And if you look at this, look at the first paragraph. It is indeed welcome. This indeed is used. Why this is used? Because to emphasize the outcome, there is agreement between center and states, and some issues we emphasize them. Please look into these examples. Paris Agreement was recently signed, and indeed Paris Agreement is one of the most important multilateral treaties in the world. That what I mean to convey through this sentence is giving more emphasis on Paris Agreement. So, indeed is used to emphasize something. This is very important. Indeed is used to emphasize something. Most of the times this is used like this, and indeed is also used to add extra information. Please look into this sentence. I am happy, indeed proud, as my son got selected for SBI PO. I am happy. I am adding some more information with emphasis. That is, I am happy, indeed proud, as my son got selected for SBI PO. So, to add some extra information also, indeed is used. So, in the present context, this is used to emphasize the decision, to give importance to the decision. That is very important. So, it is indeed welcome that the center and the states have reached an agreement, have reached. The issue was settled recently. That is why he used have reached. If he is referring to some agreement which occurred some 2-3 years ago, under those circumstances probably he might have used had reached. So, there is a difference between have reached, had reached. Had reached means looking at the event which occurred long ago. He is not relating to the present circumstances. When he is relating to the present circumstances, we have to use have reached agreement, and I do not know in English, probably it is called this present perfect, if I am not wrong. I am not going into grammar sense, I am explaining you how to understand. That is the basic concept of my lectures. Here it is indeed welcome that the center and the states have reached agreement. When you find sentence like this, please understand that they are related to the present context. What I mean to convey, I am not going into whether it is which type of grammar it is. I am not interested in that. I am only interested how you understand this. On the vexed issue of dual control of administering the goods and services tax. Vexed issue. Why he used vexed issue? This word is you come across quite frequently. So, look at these examples. Vexed. The subsidies in developing countries is the common problem. Subsidies means you will get LPG subsidy, you are getting food subsidy at rupees 2 per kg, you are getting fertilizer subsidy, urea at subsidized prices. So, vexed issue means the issue in fact difficult to deal with and causing lot of disagreement and argument. When an issue is causing lot of disagreement even among the experts, some issues cause a lot of disagreement and arguments. So, under those circumstances this is used. Economists are divided over the vexed issue of reducing subsidies. Because normally unanimity will not be there and it causes disagreement and argument. So, when it is solved, that is why because this vexed issue is solved, that is why he used the word vexed in the paragraph. Let us look at some more examples. One more example is world is watching. Donald Trump is taking over today as president, 45th president of USA. So, world is watching how Donald Trump will deal with the vexed issue of reducing fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are to be reduced basically to prevent further global warming, and Donald Trump says that this global warming is a big hoax. And under these circumstances, how he is going to deal with. So, vexed issue of reducing fossil fuels means when there is a disagreement and argument, you have to use vexed. So, we learnt indeed and vexed. So, it is indeed welcome that the center and the states have reached agreement on the vexed issue of dual control of administering the goods and services tax. Who will administer? Up to what extent state will administer, up to what extent center will administer, that is the vexed issue, and that was solved. That is why he used it is indeed welcome, so as to emphasize that, right. So, opening up the possibility of because of this issue is solved, that is why because of this opening up the possibility of introducing the new paradigm shifting tax regime. This word is very important, paradigm shift. Paradigm shift means it is something away from the normal working, something away from the conventional. Previously, there used to be number of indirect taxes across the country. Now, they are going to be replaced by goods and services tax. So, this is paradigm shift. Shift from conventional working. Under those circumstances only this is to be used. Look at this example, paradigm shift. Paradigm shift, when in place of coal power plant, solar energy is used. Coal power plant is closed or shut down. In that place, solar energy is used. That is paradigm shift. In place of diesel vehicles, electric vehicles are used. That is paradigm shift. So, paradigm shift means changing completely, usual way of changes, usual way of doing the things are changed completely. So, when usual way is changed, education requires paradigm shift. The way you learn requires a paradigm shift. Rote learning requires a paradigm shift, right. So, solar energy is one example of a paradigm shift, right. So, here he used this word because of the reason this is total shift from various indirect taxes to goods and services tax, right. We learnt clearly 3 words. It is indeed welcome, vexed issue of dual control of administering goods and services tax, opening up the possibility of introducing new paradigm shifting tax regime on July 1, 2017, right. Having learned these things, let us look at the next paragraph. Next paragraph says, a more realistic view A more realistic view would be set the launch date of the new tax 3 months after the final state and central GST laws are passed and the rules are published. He is giving some suggestion. A more realistic view would be he is giving some suggestion would be to set the launch date, because government gave July 1, but he is expressing his opinion, the newspaper is expressing newspaper's opinion. A more realistic view would be to set the launch date of the new tax 3 months after the laws are passed by states and center. The more realistic is implement it 3 months after states as well as center passes GST laws. Companies need time, his opinion, companies need time to prepare their accounting systems in order to drop an invoice. Companies require some time basically to prepare accounting systems. Previous accounting systems were basically about excise duty, octroi duty, all those things, but now only one tax will come. So, accounting systems need to be modified and the process of invoice must conform to the new requirements. So, what is the meaning of invoice? Invoice means, let us take one example. Maruti car company is in Delhi, Manesar, Delhi. Maruti car company is in Manesar, Haryana, near Delhi. And after the manufacturing of cars, that is that Maruti company is sending the cars to Vijayawada or Hyderabad. When these cars are transported to some Maruti dealer in Hyderabad, then some invoice is raised by Maruti company. So, invoice is basically indicating detailed list of goods rendered with an account of costs involved. So, there what are the goods being sent through this vehicle? How many cars are there? Maruti, 10 cars, 20 cars. What is the cost of each car and what type of cars are being sent, and it indirectly indicates asking for payment. The amount is indicated there. So, invoice is basically detailed list of goods basically asking for payment indirectly, and there is a difference between invoice and receipt. Invoice is raised by the manufacturer and after the payment by the dealer, then receipt is issued in recognition of payment received. So, invoice indicates details of a list of goods. So, here please read this. Companies need time to prepare their accounting systems in order to drop an invoice that fully conforms to the requirements of the new tax on launch day. So, on the launching date itself, companies must be in a position to raise their invoice as per the new standards. That is the meaning of this sentence. For GST to succeed, compliance must be easy. Compliance, we should follow or we should give compliance to World Trade Organization. Yesterday also we discussed about compliance. World Trade Organization rules must be complied by the member countries. Compliance means the act of obeying an order or rule. So, here multinational corporations should act in compliance with the environmental laws of the country. Environmental laws may differ from one country to other country. So, the compliance with regard to environmental laws must be there. So, here the sentence is, for GST to succeed, compliance must be easy. Obeying the rules, following the rules, acting as per the rules, that must be easy, and companies must have time for obeying them, and companies must have time to raise the invoice as per the new standards. So, that is the meaning of this paragraph. Look at the next paragraph. taxpayers, that means companies or organizations, must not face undue harassment having to deal with two administrative bureaucracies for the same tax. Taxpayers must not face undue harassment having to deal with two administrative bureaucracies for the same tax. Undue harassment. What is the meaning of undue? Undue means more than necessary, more than acceptable, more than reasonable. When tax authorities are asking for the requirements and documentation, there is some reasonableness, there must be some acceptable limit of asking it. So, undue means beyond the necessary things. Several times we come across this word, undue. Undue increase in taxes may lead to tax evasion. Undue increase in taxes may lead to tax evasion. If the taxes are increased to 80%, 70%, then what people will do? People will try to hide the income. When taxes are excessive, more than necessary, more than acceptable limit, more than reasonable limit, then people will take shelter, or you can say people will try to evade the taxes. So, here undue increase means more than reasonable increase. Similarly, undue increase in prices of petroleum products will put burden on the common man. So, petroleum prices should not be increased beyond reasonable limit. So, undue, many times you come across this. The present context is undue harassment. Harassment. Normally, this word is used with regard to women, especially pertaining to sexual harassment. But there are other meanings to it. The professor harasses students too much, beyond reasonable limit. Undue harassment by professor is evident. Some professors in our educational institutions harass students. So, harass means beyond this normal limit, or you can say behavior that annoys or upsets someone. Then we frequently hear about harassment by tax officials. We frequently hear about harassment by police officials. So, if you look at women, it is illegal behavior towards a person. Right. So, harassment is used under these circumstances, and if you go back to the sentence, taxpayers must not face undue harassment having to deal with, because they have to deal with two administrative bureaucracies for the same tax. So, bureaucracies. What is the meaning of bureaucracy? Quite often we come across this word. Bureaucracy means it is basically system of controlling the things, system of controlling or managing a country, or system of controlling a corporation. So, this is bureaucracy. In our country, if you look at the government, bureaucracy is starting from district collector right up to clerk, that entire system is the bureaucracy. Similarly, starting from IPS officer right up to police constable, that is bureaucracy to maintain law and order. So, here bureaucracy means basically system for controlling or managing a country or a company. Come back to the sentence. This is taxpayers must not face undue harassment having to deal with the two administrative bureaucracies for the same tax. Right. Having learnt this, let us move on. States will oversee administration, overseeing the operations, or overseeing. States will oversee administration or undertake scrutiny and audit, Here what is the meaning of oversee? This Polavaram project is declared as national project. May I know the name of the engineers who are overseeing the Polavaram project? Overseeing means to watch or organize a job or an activity to make certain that it is being done correctly. So, overseeing. So, here states will oversee administration or undertake scrutiny and audit. Scrutiny is one aspect, audit is another aspect. If you look at the taxpayers, scrutiny, what is the meaning of scrutiny? Please look into this. This is classic example. Scrutiny means careful and detailed examination of something in order to get information about it. Careful and detailed examination of something in order to get information about it. That is the scrutiny. I gave one example. The statistics of total value of currency notes printed. Now, the Reserve Bank of India governor stated that 9.2 lakh crores of currency notes were printed already against around 15 lakh crores. And second thing is, demonetized notes which were deposited in the banking system will come under close scrutiny. Statisticians will look at these figures with a microscopic eye so as to look at the economy as a whole. So, this is scrutiny. Careful examination of something is scrutiny. Audit. Audit means verifying, or you can say examination of the accounts of a business. Government usually by experts from outside. It is basically examination of the accounts of a business or governments usually by experts from outside. And please do not forget, for audit purpose we have one organization in our country which is stipulated as per article 148 of the constitution, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, that audits government expenditure. So, auditing is going on in our office, hence we are busy. Quite frequently you hear about such type of sentences. So, auditing is going on in our office, hence we are busy. So, here let us come back to the sentence. Here the sentence says, states will oversee administration or undertake scrutiny and audit of 90% of the economic entities with a turnover under rupees 1.5 crore, with the remaining 10% coming under the centre's purview. What is the meaning of purview? Purview means centers which comes under center's powers or center's jurisdiction or center's domain, whatever way you call it. So, purview means it is basically the limit of someone's organization's responsibility, interest or activity. The limit of organization's responsibility. Here I gave two examples to explain you about purview. Banking is not within the purview of state governments. Banking is within the domain of central government. So, purview is used to draw the boundaries of any organization. Similarly, interpretation of the constitution. If some constitutional provision is violated, that cannot be interpreted by district court. Right? So, interpretation of Constitution of India is not within the purview of district court. So, it is up to which the responsibility or up to which the domain of organization is there, that is the meaning of purview. So, let us come back. This is with regard to the states will oversee administration, undertake scrutiny and audit, so and so, and 10% comes under the centre's purview. Right? So, let us look at the next paragraph. Next paragraph is, this is for entities with a turnover of over 1.5 crore, center and states will share control equally. This is as per the decision taken. States will also be empowered to share control equally under the integrated GST. Integrated GST means the goods and services tax which is imposed on interstate sale of goods or services. Then second thing is, this is also the GST imposed on import of goods. So, these two things are known as integrated GST, and states will also be empowered. Empowerment we discussed last time. Empower means giving power to the people, or you can say giving more freedom, more rights, official authority, legal power. Under these circumstances, empowerment is used. Bank loans to self-help groups in our country is empowering women. Yesterday we discussed 73rd and 74th amendments to the constitution empowered Panchayati Raj institutions in our country. So, empowerment, giving more freedom, giving more rights, giving more official authority, giving more legal power. Under those circumstances, this empowerment is used. And there should be no Inspector Raj. What is the meaning of it? Tax authorities should not harass. That is the meaning of there should be no Inspector Raj. Sensibly, the centre has yielded to states' demand for taxation powers in littoral waters. What is yield? Yield is used under several circumstances. The meaning here is, I will tell you with one example. The father-in-law has yielded to the demand of the son-in-law for purchase of the car. Father-in-law is not supposed to give or gift a car to son-in-law, but here father-in-law was yielded to the demand of son-in-law for car. So, what is the meaning of it? That means the father-in-law was forced. Actually, it is not the duty of the father-in-law to give a car to son-in-law, but here the father-in-law yielded to the demand of son-in-law. Here also sensibly the centre has yielded to state's demand for taxation powers in littoral waters. So, actually it comes under the purview of central government, but the centre has yielded to state's demand. That means the power was given to states. Actually it is with centre's power, but it is given to states, as father-in-law gave a car to son-in-law. Father-in-law yielded to the demand of son-in-law for car. So, here the power is with centre. Yielded means the centre has given away something and better sense prevailed with centre. So, as to solve this problem, centre yielded to it. So, as to solve the problem of daughter is facing day-to-day problems. So, as to prevent the problems of daughter, then father-in-law what he will do? He will give doles to son-in-law. So, similarly in the similar context this is used. The centre has yielded to state's demand for taxation powers in littoral waters. Littoral waters means waters close to the coast. Waters close to the coast. And yield has got some other meanings. I told you the exact meaning here whatever it is used, but yield has got two more meanings. Please look into this. Yield on government securities reduced to 6.5%. Yield means amount of profit or income produced from a business or investment, that is yield. Yield on government securities reduced to 6.5%. Yield is also used when you look at agricultural produce. The yield of rice is record over this year. It talks about amount of crop, but here in the passage this is used in another context. Centre has given way to the state's demand. Actually it is within centre's purview, but it has given way to the state's demand. So, under these circumstances this word is used here. And littoral waters is waters close to the coast. Actually this passage is talking about 12 nautical miles territorial waters. The rights of taxation under the territorial waters lies with the centre. So, here the literal meaning of littoral is this basically coastal region and part of river, lake, sea close to the land or region between high and low tides. So, this is the literal meaning of littoral, but here in this passage it is used with a sense of territorial waters. Please do not forget. All of you are familiar with the territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, please do not forget. 12 nautical miles is territorial waters. 200 nautical miles is exclusive economic zone. These things we deliberated, right? So, let us come back to the passage here. Sensibly the centre has yielded to state's demand for taxation powers in littoral waters. This could have been done without these protracted parleys of the GST Council pushing back the time for rules to be finalized. What is the meaning of this? This could have been done without these protracted parleys. Without these protracted parleys, this could have been done. Actually, the editorial says that, please understand this sentence. Some people may find it difficult to understand. Here the editorial says that this could have been done without these protracted parleys. That means this is delayed by 3 to 6 months. These things, whatever decided today, could have been decided long back. Why 6 months delay, 3 months delay? These things could have been accepted 3 months ago, 6 months ago. Why central government has gone for these many GST council meetings? There is no point. So, this could have been done without these protracted parleys of the GST council pushing back the time for rules to be finalized. These decisions and these things could have been accepted long back. So, this sentence some people feel it difficult to understand. This could have been done. The meaning is these things could have been done previously, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. Why protracted parleys? Protracted. What is the meaning of protracted? Let us look at protracted. Protracted means they are made to last longer than necessary. Protracted discussions, protracted negotiations are not advisable. Protracted means made to last longer than necessary. So, the protracted negotiations with government employees yielded a desired result. Protracted negotiations. Parleys. Parleys means discussion between two groups of people. We call it parleys. Please look at the spelling. In the article, it was written as PARLAYS, but I am doubtful. Please look at the exact spelling of this parleys. This could have been done without these protracted parleys of the GST council pushing back the time for rules to be finalized. That means without these long delayed negotiations, without wasting this much of time, these things could have been done long back, right. So, that is the meaning of this paragraph. Let us look at the next paragraph. Next paragraph is with regard to political rapprochement. What is the meaning of rapprochement? Rapprochement means here agreement reached by opposing groups or people. Please understand this word, quite often we come across this. Agreement reached by opposing groups, that is rapprochement. In Myanmar, you have several groups. In Myanmar, you have several groups and there are signs of rapprochement among the warring factions in Myanmar. There are signs of rapprochement among the warring factions in Myanmar. So, agreement reached by opposing groups. Right. So, political rapprochement makes sense as GST creates audit trails. This word is very important, trail. I will tell you with one example. I gave you 1 lakh rupees by cash. I gave you rupees 1 lakh by cash. It will not have any trail. If you say that I have not given you, there is no answer from me. But I sent you through NEFT 1 lakh rupees. I sent you through NEFT or by check rupees 1 lakh. Then you cannot say that you have not received. It will leave financial trail, TRAIL. Financial trail means there is some record. Record is left. So, this word is very important and here political rapprochement makes sense as GST creates audit trails. Basically, it creates trails of the transaction that would curb tax evasion and widen the tax base and boost tax collections. This one will lead to totally it will create audit trail because it is one destination tax and input credits will be there and in the process total trail will be created. I will give you with one more example of trail. Please look into this. When there is a super cyclone, wind will be there for 2 hours or 3 hours. Wind will be there for 2 hours or 3 hours. then it will leave total trail of destruction. Trees will fall, roof will blow away, and you can see next day. So, super cyclone causes a trail of destruction in Chennai. So, which is clearly visible. Trail means which is left behind because of some activity. In cash transactions, financial trail will not be there, but in digital transactions, financial trail will be there. That is why government is insisting on digital transactions to control black money. So, this financial trail is very important. Infosys is trailing behind in performance in comparison to Tata consultancy services. So, under this meaning also this trail can be used, right. So, this financial trail is very important, as this leaves a trail which would curb evasion. What is meant by evasion? Tax evasion, tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is different, tax evasion is different. Tax avoidance is legal, tax evasion is totally illegal, then criminal. Tax evasion means an action of escaping from doing the right thing. You are hiding the income, that is tax evasion. But looking at certain loopholes, if you are reducing your tax liability, that is tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is unfair, unethical, but legal. It takes benefit of the loopholes in the law, but tax evasion is something different. Tax evasion is totally deliberate concealment of material facts, and it is a fraud totally. It is violating the laws of the land, and it is illegal, criminal. So, there is a clear differentiation between tax avoidance, tax evasion. Please understand, right. So, in the present paragraph, if you look at it, political rapprochement makes sense as DST creates audit trails that would curb evasion, widen the tax base and boost tax collections. So, tax collections will be increased, that is the meaning of boost. Liberalization has boosted Indian economy in many ways. Boost, increase, improve and encourage. Kerala government took several measures to boost its tourism. Under these circumstances, this boost is used. The states and the center must swiftly means acting in a fast way without delay, swift action is required. That means without any delay, in very short time, if action is taken, then only you have to use swiftly. The states and the center must swiftly tie up all the loose ends. If any loose ends are there, they have to be tied up. Tying the loose ends, several times we come across this. That means normally in any project, at the end there are some unfinished tasks, small tasks will be unfinished. Normally people do not give much emphasis on them, but that is very important. So, tie up the loose ends is things that are not yet finished, problems that are not yet solved are to be tied up, are to be solved. So, loose ends meaning is things that are not yet finished, problems that are not yet solved. So, here one example I have given, I have to stay this weekend. Normally Saturday, Sunday is holiday, but I have to stay this weekend. Monday project is to be commissioned. Under those circumstances, I have to stay this weekend to tie up the loose ends. So, this is quite frequently you come across. Tying up the loose ends means that totally the unfinished tasks are to be completed. Nothing should be left as such, right. So, here if you look at the passage, the states and the center must swiftly, that means as fast as possible, tie up all the loose ends. There should not be loose ends. Even July is not sacrosanct as a deadline. You can go up to August, you can go up to September. It is not sacrosanct, right. So, let us look at the sacrosanct. Sacrosanct meaning is too important, too special. If today is my birthday, this day is sacrosanct for me. If today is my marriage day, this day is very special, this day is sacrosanct for me, that means it is too important for me. So, here sacrosanct, sacrosanct means too important. The passage conveys that July 1 need not be that sacrosanct. It can be August 1, it can be September 1, it can be October 1. Why are you in a hurry? Please give emphasis on tying up the loose ends. You should not leave any unfinished aspects. So, here I give one example. I am ready to work overtime on weekdays, but my weekends are sacrosanct. I can work even up to midnight on Thursday, Friday, but I do not work on Saturday and Sunday because these 2 days are very important, very special for me, sacrosanct. Right. Let us go back to the discussion. The states and center must swiftly tie up all the loose ends. Even July is not a sacrosanct as a deadline. Why are you keeping July 1 as sacrosanct? It can go further, but tie up all the loose ends. That is the meaning of this paragraph. And if you look at the last paragraph, September 1 would be preferable. He is suggesting September 1 would be preferable because you have to tie up lot many loose ends. A messy beginning would leave a bad taste in the mouth for all concerned. A messy beginning would leave a bad taste in the mouth. Bad taste in the mouth, what is the real meaning of this? That means it will create a lot many problems for all the stakeholders, either for government or for the organizations. It will create a lot many troubles if the loose ends are not tied. Take your own time, tie up all the loose ends in a swift manner. Wait till all the loose ends are tied up and there is no sanctity, there is no sacrosanct date as July 1. Please take your own time, but messy beginning is not anticipated. It is best avoided. Messy beginning means totally disorderly beginning. Disorderly, the other meanings are also there, dirty, untidy, but disorder way, disorder beginning without tying up the loose ends is best avoided. Right friends, we learnt several words today. And this is one of the best ways of learning English vocabulary. I am giving with a lot many examples. Please follow for 100 sessions. You will become master in English. Right? So, we will meet on Monday. Monday 11th session will be with regard to today's The Hindu editorial. This is rebooting disinvestment, and please join that day. You are going to learn much more in economy also, that is disinvestment, what is meant by strategic sale, what is public sector, what is private sector, what is public limited, what is private limited, what is general insurance company, what is standalone health insurance company, what is life insurance company. All these things, if you want, please do join at 11 a.m. on Monday, 12 a.m. on Monday for comprehension discussion. And please don't forget, tonight at 8 o'clock we will have IBPS PO interview discussion. प्लीज़ डू ज्वाइन. और आज रात 9 बजे हम लोग हिंदी में IBPS PO इंटरव्यूज़ का क्वेश्चंस का डिस्कस करेंगे और आप 9 बजे हिंदी सेशन के लिए उपस्थित हो जाइए और 8 बजे अंग्रेजी, 9 बजे हिंदी आज रात. सो हैव ए नाइस डे. थैंक यू. थैंक्स ए लॉट.